Going on a Resort World cruise and don't know what to expect? Don't worry, we got you covered. We travelled twice on Resort World cruises, and in this vlog, we will compare and review our experiences as well as give you a few tips to get you ready to cruise on the cruise.
We are traveling again, and this time we will be heading on board a cruise to Vietnam and then to Hong Kong. So this is our second time going on board the Genting cruises. This time round is going to be the Resort World one.
It's a one-time relocation cruise, and after that, this cruise will be operating in Hong Kong.
Previously, we've been on the Genting Dream, and now we will see what's the difference between the two cruise ships. We are now on board Resort World Cruise, and we got free upgrade to the Palace Suite. So now the room tour. We have a walk-in area that is the wardrobe. Very spacious. Like this is like a normal hotel room toilet. And then you can see here the toilet is even bigger. There is like the toilet bowl, we have the shower area, we have this full 2 basin district, shampoo, hair conditioner, bath foam, body lotion. This is like the most towel I've seen in a hotel. And then we have a bathtub on a cruise. Next, we will go to the living area. We have 2 desks. This is a very big room with a full-size sofa, a queen-size bed. There is even a curtain. So that is the end of the room tour. Oh wait, there's a balcony. It's dark, so we're going to explore it tomorrow. Welcome on board our room. We have opted for the ocean view room, so there's no balcony this time and we can't really open the window. It's quite spacious compared to the hotels in Japan. So they have a queen size bed, enough room here. So this is like a small living area. They even have a sofa, which we don't really see in smaller rooms that we have stayed in. And there's this dressing area as well as a desk, but it is slightly dirty. Didn't clean properly. The toilet, as expected, smaller than the one that we had in the palace room. Standard shower, basin, and a toilet.
We are now at the Dream Dining. Some tips about dining in Resort World Cruise. Come early, like it open at 5, come at 5:30, and it's less crowded. And when they assign the table, you can tell them to assign a close to window table so that you can have a nice scenery while having your meal. For the menu, for this restaurant, they offer Chinese and English menu. In the menu, even though they mention that there's appetizer, main dish, and dessert, you can choose more than one main dish, like what we are doing now.
We are now back in our room. So a couple of weeks back, we went for another cruise, and it was 4 days 3 nights to Kuala Lumpur as well as Penang. It was a very good experience, and that's why we have pretty high expectation before we boarded this cruise.
Before I boarded the cruise, I saw an old-fashioned arch. My gut feeling is that maybe it's not a new cruise. And I'm right.
Yeah, it turns out it's pretty dated, but it's still quite well maintained given how many years it has been. When we were at the observatory of the captain's deck, we actually saw that it was a repurposed cruise from the Superstar Virgo, which I remember it being quite an old cruise back in those days. There is a difference in the size of the Genting Dream versus Resort World one, and you can feel that this cruise is a little bit more cramped. The hallways and the main areas are a little bit more cramped. So if you were to ask me, I think I would much prefer the Genting Dream.
The differences is quite obvious between these 2 cruises, but the structure are similar. It's split into the forward deck and also the backward deck. The restaurant names are all the same.
It has various facilities and amenities and also a lot of restaurants. Some of them are specialty restaurants that are not included within the cruise fare, but surprisingly their prices are not really very expensive. An ice cream on board is about $3 per scoop, which is not really very expensive considering you're on a cruise. If you eat a scoop of ice cream in USJ, that's not $3, it's maybe $30. There are also cruise-specific facilities. So on board the Genting Dream, they have the adventure course, they have a zip line, a rock climbing wall, and they have also a lot of different kinds of slide. But on board the Resort World one, they have one big mega slide, and they have a VR experience zone, but the VR experience zone is a paid experience. So from here you can tell that the Genting Dream is much better. The one thing that you don't have to worry when you're on board the cruise is being well fed. We are always very full while we are on board the cruise because once you stop eating, a few more hours, you can eat again. There's always food available. There's like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and in between those meals, they also have like a slot for tea as well as supper. So yeah, you have to pace yourself when you're on board the cruise. Don't overeat, and especially if you are going down on the shore excursion and you want to eat the local food.
And of course, you can join some cruise activities to burn some calories.
Some tips about boarding the cruise at the Marina Bay Center. Even though they have listed the check-in timing on your cruise itinerary slip, you can actually report to the cruise center earlier and they will allow you to board about 2 hours earlier than the check-in timing. This is good because if you board the cruise early, you might be able to get an extra meal in the sense that they might still be serving lunch or dinner, and you can actually start to use some of the cruise facility once you board the cruise.
And the cruise is less crowded if you board early.
One thing to note is that if you come on board this cruise at every port of call, they have various shore excursions of different pricing. So once you board the cruise, do go to the shore excursion reception to check out what they have to offer.
Tips number 2, book the excursion package early. When you board the cruise, if you like to join the excursion, remember to sign up for the excursion early because they might sell out. Of course, if you book early, if the tour haven't hit the minimum capacity, they will not guarantee your excursion package, but it's better early than be late.
There are advantages and disadvantages of booking the shore excursion. So one thing is that shore excursions are relatively pricier, but there may be some port of call that are not near to the city. The one we encountered at Port Klang actually not near to Kuala Lumpur, and so even if you are able to get a taxi ride out to the Kuala Lumpur city, you might not be able to get the ride back to the pier. That's why for that we decided to take the shore excursion. But on the other hand, for Penang, port of call is actually quite near to Georgetown, so you can easily get a Grab to bring you to places around Penang. There's quite a lot of options, but I still feel that the safest is to just sign up for the package if price is not a real issue to you, because that will guarantee that you will be back on the cruise at the allocated time. Also, one thing to note on excursion days, passengers who sign up for shore excursion will disembark the cruise first before free and easy passengers allowed to disembark. But based on our experience in Penang, it didn't take really long. The next tip is that there is this Resort World daily newsletter. It will show you which restaurant is open at what time for lunch and for dinner, what cuisine it will serve, as well as what are the onboard activities, like what time the bingo starts, what time the theatre will have the shows, what time they will show the movie and all that. So this newsletter is a pretty important newsletter to read every day. While we were on board the Genting Dream, they actually give us printed newsletter, but on board the Resort World one, there isn't any newsletter, so you can join their Wi-Fi and get free access to the newsletter on your mobile devices.
Next tip, food that being served by the restaurants are all similar. So you can choose the restaurant based on the atmosphere, crowdedness, and also the serving method. In the restaurant, they also provide complimentary coffee and tea. There is also complimentary coffee, tea, and Milo at the casino area, so you can go there anytime.
So the next tip is that for your mobile devices, you need to switch to airplane mode, because while you're out at the sea, you might be connected to a cellular network for the sea, and you might incur charges even though if you have roaming for the different countries, but in international water, it seems that the cellular service is different. The cruise also offer Wi-Fi packages, so if you are really in need of internet access while on board the cruise, you can actually sign up. The other thing is that if your devices auto-synchronize the date and time, do take note that it might synchronize to the wrong time. While we were on our way back to Singapore, we actually passed through Indonesia water, and most of our devices sync to the Indonesia time, which is different by 1 hour. Funny story is that while we were disembarking the cruise, a couple behind us was arguing because they were waiting for each other.
One is in Singapore time zone, one is in Indonesia time zone.
It was pretty funny.
Lastly, both cruises actually provide the similar facility. So there are water slides, jacuzzi, swimming pool, gym as well.
Also, there are some show and performance, so do go early to get a good seat.
So they do have quite good shows at their Zodiac Theatre. Like what we mentioned, look out for the Resort World Daily and see what are the shows that are available. So these are all the tips that we have to get you ready on board the Genting cruise. So we hope that it will be of use to you. If it is your first time, it may be a little bit overwhelming. It has been 6 days since we have boarded the Resort World 1. So how do you feel about the cruise?
Although the cruise is a bit dated, but the staff are all very kind and professional.
I can't imagine like being on board of this cruise, being seasick and still needing to serve people with a smile. And it really makes up for the good experience that we have here, even though the cruise is, yes, a little bit dated.
And very shaky.
It's really very shaky. I think I ended up eating like 6 seasick pills throughout the whole journey.
Especially the first night, it was so shaky that we couldn't really sleep well.
Yeah, and we have to get out of the room because we felt that it's a bit too dangerous to stay in the room because it was rocking really badly. There's various activities while we're on board the cruise to keep us entertained. Like there's a napkin folding session. There is also a lavender flower making arts and crafts session. And there's various shows. There is this mesmerized magic show. There was also another show called Love Metal. And throughout the day, they will have various bingo games, events, as well as movie screening at the Grand Piazza area. The food is actually above average. It's not that good and it's also not that bad. So it's like just
Above average.
Another tip is that during this embarkation day, you will be told to collect your passport that you have surrendered when you board the cruise, and there's actually no rush to collect the passport because there's a 3-hour time frame allocated. So if you go towards the end, the last hour, then it has lesser people. While on board this cruise, we went for 2 shore excursions. One was in Ho Chi Minh City and the other is at Da Nang. For the Ho Chi Minh City, we opted for a transfer service because the port is pretty far away from Ho Chi Minh City. We were given about 4 to 5 hours of time to freely explore the city, and we went to quite a lot of attraction while we were there. The other shore excursion was to the Kam Tam Coconut Village in Hoi An. That was a tour and it was slightly more expensive. As part of the tour, we set the basket boat. Overall, I guess it was quite a unique experience. The highlight of the basket boat tour was the part where our rower actually spun our boat while we were in it, as well as the initial part where you can see the sea coconut trees by the side. It was quite a beautiful view.
After the basket boat tour, they actually offer us a coconut, which is also an additional bonus for us.
Apart from the basket boat tour, there isn't really much to see in the village. There were like 2 rows of shops. Other than that, we didn't really have time, or it's not part of our itinerary to explore the village. As part of the tour, we also visited the Hoi An Old Town. We actually had lunch at a restaurant there, but we decided to quickly have our lunch and to explore the Hoi An Old Town.
It was a very authentic Vietnamese cuisine. The egg pancake is very nice, very crispy. I believe they put a lot of oil.
Hoi An Old Town is a pretty unique place because it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They preserve the olden style buildings, but you can see that it has transformed to be quite a touristy town. On one side of the town, there's a lot of modern cafes as well as restaurants, and then opposite the river, there's still the old traditional buildings.
It just gives you a very peaceful feeling.
The last destination of the tour is the Han Market, and it's kind of like the same as the Ben Thanh Market, and we also shopped there. Although we weren't given a lot of time, we were given only about an hour. It wasn't sufficient for us to shop. It was quite a big market with 2 levels. So overall, the shore excursion was fun. I think it's much better than what we expected.
Yes.
So that is on board the Genting Dream. We are not sure for the Resort World one whether it's the same, and if it's not, then
We won't show you this piece of video.
if it's not, then choose Genting Dream. The other thing is that the Genting Dream has touchscreens.
Lavender.
Explore to freely explore the No More Palace. Say goodbye.